Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a very happy Jupiter opposition. Hi, I am your Planetary Defense Commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7. And technically right now, I'm on vacation. Though I didn't go anywhere, I've just spent like 48 hours trying to recharge my energy. And so, I don't know, the energy got so wild, I thought I would come here and hang out with you guys because you guys are so awesome. That's cool. I'm on vacation though, so I'll be just talking Lord knows what. Hey, you, how are you? Oh, I gotta find my glasses. Shit, I didn't think of that ahead of time. How's everybody doing? Hold on, I'm moving slow. Okay, so try to take 48 hours off. To recharge my batteries and recalibrate my stuffs, and just to pay attention to everything that's going on in the world. And so I didn't plan to go live, and then the energy was just like, boom, I'm going live because I got stuff to say. And so, I don't know, there was an Asian guy who was on a show called Mythbusters. I never watched the show, but the outpouring of love from people and the photos that followed seemed to be that, like, he seemed like a pretty cool guy, a pretty smart guy that everybody was lucky that they got to know him, and that whatever science knowledge or stuff he tried to pass on, they all appreciated it. So I didn't know him, but I would drink some beer in his honor. Well, I don't know, it was like a week ago we lost Charlie Daniels, and then there was like some Glee person who passed away. Telling you, gang, death is prevalent in 2020. If you're paying attention to the obituaries, don't care what you believe, death seems to be thick this season. We call it 2020. So cheers to life, cheers to the future, cheers to love, and cheers to everybody before us that was cool, that got us this far. Of course, thanks to God for it all. And I can say personally, thank you to Jesus for helping taking me there, from there to here. From like birth to now, or whatever. I don't be triggering nobody, but I am on vacation, and I'm gonna tell you guys something, like I was your grandfather or your godfather, that I don't give a shit what party you believe in. At this point, I'm not even worried about the election. What I am worried about is that somebody has to represent the poor and the middle class, and often that is me and other people. But today I'm just saying, hey, like, I don't give a shit what Fantasyland people have been selling you. I've been giving you pretty damn good information all year long. So they just locked California back down again. And Fort Bend County in Houston just said the fall semester of their online classes will be online. Their fall classes will be online. And so my biggest concern here, I'm not on unemployment because I have a job. I'm Planetary Defense Commander. You guys pay me. So there are 30 million people on unemployment, and they have like unemployment extension bonus or whatever the people have been getting to help them through the crisis in the last 3 months. And so we are going to be dealing with this shit for 2 more years. Yes, we had a giant window in February. If you were thinking on an energetic, prayer, mystical, magical, however you look at it, like humanity had a giant window in February, and especially America, to knock this fucking thing out And then we had another window at the very beginning of July, and we fucking totally screwed those windows up. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people from February to now who concentrate on money in the stock markets, they've kind of known what is happening and what is going to happen, so that they've continued to stay focused on stock markets and stock prices and money. So they helped everybody blow past our good windows. So it definitely looks like we're going to be dealing with this shit for 2 more years. I don't give a fuck who you're voting for, or who you think's going to win, or who's going to win. I'm just saying, regardless, we're still going to have this fucking plague that's probably going to be rolling around for 2 more years. And so every town, every city, every state, and every nation is going to have to figure out how to deal with it. And so, yeah, that's the thing I've been wanting to say to you guys for, I don't know, 40 hours. That, like, somehow, like, for example, if Biden wins, somehow I and the president now, and anybody else who's a fucking conservative, has to figure out how to convince 30 to 40% of the people how to just play good defense for the next 6 months or a year and a half. And people on the right, like planet Earth and America, needs to figure out how to play defense to an unprecedented plague. And I'm tired, like the president always calls it a plague. I call it a fucking plague. If you have a problem with everybody calling it a plague, then I don't know why you're here other than to possibly try to troll me. I mean, the Army just sent thousands of soldiers here to Texas to help us deal with the capacity we've been having. And yeah, it's all weird, man. And so it seems like every single sign out there is just basically like play good defense personally, locally, mentally, physically, spiritually. But so I am a huge proponent. Like at this point, we have 11 days, 10 days to convince both Democrats and Republicans to extend the unemployment benefits that help people make it through this pandemic. And neither the Democrats nor the Republicans seem interested in doing that. And this will put, like, the main helper right now is money. It's how it is. And so giving, you know, remember, it doesn't go to me. People may donate to me or contribute, but I'm saying this is not for me. I'm saying that, like, knowing that, like, 30 million Americans and families, like, the money that they've been getting, it's kind of like, to me, it's like Space Force. Like, everybody's kind of getting paid to play good defense over the next 6 months. It's what I recommended in February. It's what I'm recommending now. And so we are watching the money printers, machines, central banks, they are pouring out money. And so no matter what, they're going to do another round. They've already said they're going to do another corporate round of financing, another central bank round. They've been doing nonstop stock market pumping rounds. And so that, like, every 3 months they come back and they look at the public, the poor and the middle class. And they're like, all right, what do we got to give these guys? And so the poor and the middle class don't really have any representatives in the Congress, in the Democrats or the Republicans. So it falls upon the people to somehow convince the people above that, like, giving those 30 extra million people and families an extra financial boost over the next 3 months or 6 months so that everybody plays good defense. Like, you're basically giving everybody extra payments to play good defense. That's all you're asking. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. For the next 6 months, do what you can to help make sure everybody's fed, everybody stays cool, and everybody keeps it together. Because we're going to be dealing with this shit for 2 more fucking years. My parts of Texas about to go back in lockdown. California's going back in lockdown. Other places are locking, like, exactly like I called it. So as of right now, there's no plan. But it seems like the important thing on my vacation here is doing what I can to remind anybody and everyone out there who can help, who can get the word out, that like at this point, I don't see any reason not to extend the unemployment benefits, not to let, during these troubling times where you don't know what is coming up, not to let those 30 million people have the extra 3 months or 6 months of extra pandemic cash. And the president has already said they're going to do at least another single check where they send people a check. And on the last checks, he had his name put on there. And so, like, on unemployment extension benefits, I would just put, like, be cool. Instead of, like, having his name, he can sign if he wants. I'm saying the main point for the next 6 months is, like, be cool, dude. Like, we want to avoid World War III. And here I am on vacation caught. Like, if you're really trying to look at it all from a large point of view, I've been thinking about how anytime that I say that the people need to work together to fight the pandemic, people are like, New World Order. But at the same time, when those people aren't saying New World Order, it seems like they're almost always cheering on Trump. So that, like, getting the people to work together qualifies as a New World Order. So if you can't have people working together, then does that mean the godly thing is to be spending your time hating half of your own fucking country? And having your lead head dude call everybody names all the time? And especially during a fucking pandemic? So, like, are those our only two options? Some weird Illuminati, horrible New World Order, or we get a president who does a super shitty job, whether it be Republican or Democrat? You know? Like, is that really our only option for the next 100 days? I mean, can we all work together just enough not to have it qualify as a New World Order? You know, work with me here, man. You know, honestly, like, you know, sometimes, like, they're like imagination ceilings for my fellow Christians. Where, like, sometimes they just get caught, they bump their head on a imagination ceiling of Christianity. We're like, uh-oh, can't think any deeper than Mark of the Beast. Or, uh-oh, can't think any deeper than New World Order. This bumper sticker was a ceiling and it took me out. You know? I said too much. So yeah, I'm here on my 2-day vacation, which probably end in a couple hours. And I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus. I watched Iron Man 2 first, and then I think I watched Iron Man 1. I love the Iron Man 1 and 2, by the way. And it broke my heart when Jon Favreau didn't direct Iron Man 3. One day I will forgive him. But he'll probably have to buy me a margarita or some whiskey. Because that still makes me sad to this day. I would like to see a Jon Favreau Iron Man 3. No offense, Shane Black. Okay, what's it talking about? Oh, yeah. And so then I watched the Avengers movie. I hadn't seen that shit in forever. The whole thing. And it's a really good movie. Oh, but another thing that blew my mind, because then I was thinking like, man, I should watch the Avengers, Disney movies, Marvel in order. And I checked, and this is a major revelation, folks. Blew my mind. Made me not get as cocky. Not that I was cocky. But the last Avengers, Avengers Endgame, takes place and ends in 2022. So, like, we've been in a big battle with Thanos, and so far, he's taken like 500,000 Earthlings. But, so it feels like now we got Thanos here and Loki. So we got Loki driving everybody mad. And there's this point where Tony Stark says that Loki just loves dividing and conquering. You know, that Loki's a full-blown diva. He wants the flowers. He wants the parades. He wants the monuments in the sky bearing his name. And that was from the first Avengers in like 2012, 2013, 2011. I don't know. But that quote seemed incredibly relevant. And so it's here we are, 2020 together, you and I, baby. And we're dealing with Loki and Thanos. And probably some other motherfuckers, you know. Oh, and another thing, since I'm on vacation, is like Dear Diary said, nah, it's totally different. It's like, last time I put up, like, Earth could be getting hit by a solar storm. And like 2 or 3 people in the comments were like, you fearmonger! I was like, what? You know? Like, anyway, so today we're getting hit by the solar storm, which just means the auroras are really cool, and sometimes the atmosphere and the weather and people get a little woo. Oh, and we have Jupiter opposition. And here's what's crazy about this whole year, if you're paying attention to the planets and the parts they play in today. So the Sun, Earth, and then Jupiter are in a straight line, dude. Boo! Right? 1 week from today, the Sun, Earth, and Jupiter, man, that would have been a more dramatic reveal if I had done it right. Let's try it again. Take 2, click that. The Sun, Earth, and Saturn will be in opposition in a straight line, 1 week from now. That happens about once a year, bro. You know, because the solar system kind of a circle, but not a perfect circle. Hey, so I'm saying, I haven't paid attention to the planets and where they are in relation to us this year, because this year's been super fascinating. We're in a planet parade. So it's like Jupiter opposition. And so for the last 40 hours, I've just been in a really good mood. Oh, but I would like if there's a part in Iron Man 2 or 1 where Tony Stark goes, hit the buttons, or hit all the buttons. And I couldn't find a GIF of that. Anyone out there ever knows how to make GIFs? And there's a GIF of Rhodes going, shut it down, in his War Machine Iron Patriot armor that I couldn't find either. If someone could do that, that would be great as well. And so we got like 113 days. Where Wall Street's going to be telling you that it's just going to be going away November 4th. So Wall Street's going to be trying to convince the public that the coronavirus will go away on November 4th. At the same time, while super overcharging anyone who has to go to the hospital, you know. And during the window where the public gets to negotiate what they get in the deal, like what the people need to survive the next 6 months, nobody's negotiating. They're either acting like the virus is a hoax, or they're protesting systemic 400-year-old racism. And so, like, they're about to do another, like, phase 4 deal to take care of the public 5 months into this thing. And nobody's really paying attention. So, like, billionaires represent billionaires, corporations represent corporations, but at the end of the day, who represents the public? We know that it's not the political parties. They represent the political party. The political parties, that political party's been there for like 200 fucking years. So it's almost like a religion. You get 2 choices. Do you want to join Islam or do you want to join Christianity? And I'm not saying that either one. I'm saying that like you only get 2 choices of like, which do you want to believe in? Do you want to believe in Democrats or Republicans? Like you don't get any other choices. Like there are only 2 that can save you at the end of the day. That's how it all is like sold. But when it comes down to when Wall Street and central banks hand out $10 trillion, I am amazed at how little Democrats are fighting for the extended unemployment benefits. And if those things don't get extended, remember at the same time, like Tesla went to like record break. Elon Musk is now like the 7th richest man on the planet, just overtook Warren Buffett. And his stock has gone nuts since the pandemic started. I would guess that he's getting that money proxy through whatever his satellites do now. I don't know. I'm saying the money that's influxing now is probably proxy those satellites and really don't have anything to do with electric cars. Or unless he had some super battery that they're going to introduce later. But for whatever reason, I don't know, man. Anyway, I love you. And cheers. What day is it? Monday, Tuesday? I don't know. It's Jupiter opposition. And I have not seen the comet in the sky, even though I've looked most mornings. That's kind of frustrating. But I will live. I will live. I hope. But if you're just joining us, I just mentioned that, like in the last week, we've lost Charlie Daniels, a Glee star, and a Mythbusters guy. And I'm just saying that death is heavy in 2020. My future is not guaranteed. Your future here is not guaranteed. No one knows how much time I or you or anyone around us will have here. So A, do your best to enjoy every second that you can. And B, do your best to love and appreciate those around you. And yeah, I definitely think we should be spending more time and focus figuring out how to make sure everyone is going to make it through 2020. Fed, sane, lights on, place to stay. If that makes your brain like dunk down into some single word that defines it all, then you're not getting it, man. Like I said a bunch of times, communism is dead, capitalism is dead, socialism is dead. They're all dead. They're gone. They're like ancient relics. The digital age changed everything. And the whole thing about people always talk about Mark of the Beast. And it's like they, from my reading, they offer it to you. It is something you have to knowingly accept. They don't just get to like shoot it into your butt while you're sleeping. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like a test of will you take it, won't you take it? But they got to offer it to you. They can't trick you into it. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. We got more time, I think. And even if the mark of the beast wasn't a vaccine, it would still be about a year and a half away. So worrying about what happens 500 days from now seems a bit silly in my opinion. I'm more worried about the next 6 months. If we're thinking in any large terms, I'm definitely thinking about this next 6 months because it is just going to be a weird battle. Like, you know this, the big battle that's happening now is about schools. And that's why they're having, like I'm saying, like at a time where the public has a chance to negotiate whatever they may need over the next 6 months to make it through a pandemic, they've got everybody arguing over schools opening 6 weeks from now. And that is part of the logic of like, if people are on unemployment, they're not going to look for work. But if you're in a pandemic, then you want everyone to be staying home, staying safe. And so not giving unemployment extension benefits is almost forcing people to go to school. And remember, I don't have any fucking kids, man. Like, at this point, they should do some type of thing that, like in Alabama, there have to be enough Republicans who are teachers and nurses and janitors that'll be like, we will throw an all Republican, we believe it's a hoax, high school. And so that, like, come on down to the virus is a hoax high school. You can have in-person fucking classes. You can have virus is a hoax colleges where, like, every Republican or person that believes it's all a hoax, like, you guys can try to fucking have a semester. Although, I mean, I'm really kind of being Joseph Swift monster proposal here. Like, Chuck Woolery called it all a bunch of lies. I'm like, well, hey, Chuck Woolery, why don't you not wear any fucking PPE and walk through a Houston ICU going live and repeat that same shit, and I'll have way more respect for you. And I don't want to say anything disrespectful, but, like, it is local. The battles that we will all face in the next 2 years are super local. And so, you know, I live in Houston, Texas. And so whereas Texas at times feels like its own nation, Houston feels like its own nation, man. This is a real powerful city that I'm very proud to be part of, and I'm lucky. And so Houston's been circling the wagons. You know, we told the Republican convention, hell no. And then they took it to the Texas Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was like, hell no. You know? And then, like I said, Fort Bend School said, we're having our classes, but they're going to be online. And our mayor has said we may go to a 2-week lockdown to recalibrate. And Houston was doing super until the governor went to meet with the president at the White House, and then shit, wheels fell off. And yeah, there were the protests too, dude. Like I said, Wall Street's hitting us from both fucking sides. Wall Street is both pro-protest and pro-believing the fucking virus is a hoax. And Elon Musk is their poster child. Yeah, there are people out there, the bean counters, the number crunchers, who are like, look, 0.5% of Americans, even if they die, that's only like 1.8 million, man. You've still got like 369 million Americans left. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird, dude, but everybody's been super nice to me. I've been getting spoiled. I got another package today from Maria. I'm gonna have to figure out how to hang these up. Flying apples, man. Got a bag of stickers. Ooh, I had to put one on my guitar. I have to figure out which it is. Oh, hey. Oh, I think there was a governor in Washington or somebody in Washington. They started to print their own Washington dollars. I'm talking about Washington State. And I have floated the idea of Texas starting its own currency, whether it be crypto or otherwise, in 2020 if, you know, we got to feed all Texans. I would call it Safe Snap, you know, anti-Thanos. Thanos is going to kill people by starving us to death. It's going to get crazy, dude. All right, that's beer number one. I'm going to have at least two with you. Cheers. And so it would be great if both Biden and Biden's people and Trump's people recognized that this virus is going to be with us for 2 years. And so that it really doesn't fucking matter who of those two that win. What matters is that we have a good plan as a nation moving forward for the next 2 years that works with or without either one. Right now, America doesn't need a president. America needs a plan. You can disagree with me right now. That's fine. I'm totally on vacation. Here in my foxhole. Was listening to Synth No Pop. I would recommend listening to Eurasia's Respect. It's a good song. And it'll get your ass shaking if you're into that type of thing. And so at this point, I can't see a reason to not extend unemployment benefits for the rest of 2020. Although I fear both Democrat and Republican parties will find reasons not to. Which will increase suicide rates, which will increase crime rates, which will increase murder rates. And create a lot more instability in homes. It'll increase food insecurity. It'll increase starvation. It'll increase homelessness. And that I definitely believe the individual Americans, for every penny that has been spent on a corporation or a bank during the same time, the public, each individual, should get pretty much the same amount. So if you're going to spend $5 trillion on corporations and banks, why not be spending $5 trillion on each individual? Especially since we're going to have to make it through 2 more years of this shit. And there will still be healthcare workers that have to work. There will still be the essential services that have to work, and that we would have to reward them. You know, I've had the idea of if you work, you know, are an essential worker, that somehow we end up paying for your motor vehicle and insurance. Like, there's a lot of shit we could do, dude. If we weren't always making sure that Tesla price was quadrupling every 3 days or whatever. You know, if all of our focus wasn't being poured into the stock market prices. Stock markets are not the economy. And that 60 to 70% of the entire economic engine is based on spending of individuals. Happy Jupiter opposition, y'all. Oh, as I've mentioned before on a personal level, I am a Sagittarius Capricorn. And so with Jupiter lining up with Saturn on December 21st, and the planets of those two signs being Jupiter and Saturn, for Capricorn and Sagittarius, I'm going to be like getting power up, level ups for the next 6 months. You know. So help me now, Jesus, because I'm trying to help feed fellow Americans. I know that was one of the things that I harped on early, was like, don't let supply chains break down. Don't let shit get too fucking crazy. We'll see what happens though. And if you ever had a problem appreciating anything that was good in your life, like electricity, or a place to live, or food to eat, or beer to drink, or an internet to watch things on, or people that you know and love and appreciate, it's never been easier to appreciate even having the basics. And that is excellent yeast water. So stay cool. Yeah, there's a heat wave breaking out. They were breaking records in San Antonio and Austin today, daily record. And I'll drink to this. Dude, this is the least stressed out, hurricane-wise, I've been this deep into hurricane season in like 5 years. Like my hurricane stress level right now is at like 0.1. As far as like how much time I spend at this moment worrying about hurricanes over the next 2 weeks or a month, I ain't that worried about it. And you've heard me say, I'm not that worried about it. And I don't see evidence that says I should be that worried about it. It may change, could change, definitely could change. Right now, China's getting hit with the hardest flooding by all means. And they aren't getting hit with major typhoons, they're just getting hit with heavy flooding. So that's cool on a personal level. And with the plague, we are so far in now, like we're 5, 6 months in, that everybody's placing their bets. And that for the people who I don't think are getting it, they are the most stubborn people out there. And our president is the only one who can get to them. So if at some point he gets on board with saving lives and get everybody to play defense and be cool, that would be great. But it looks like he's going to double down on declaring war on the left. And if you know me, you know I'm not really big on declaring war on directions. You know, declaring war on the West or declaring war on the left. That's not me, man. And it's very weird for him to be like, all schools will open. And that like you have individual school districts. And that each individual school district in every state is going to make that decision. That we don't have a king, so that's not how it fucking works. You have to influence and inspire. I'm definitely getting way too fat. But the good thing about being too fat is, romantically, I don't have to worry about women. I mean, I can joke about them, I can talk about them, I can obsess about them, I can fantasize, I can dream. I ain't got to worry about them. Right now, women in hurricanes are like, I ain't got to worry about them. Technically, it's romantic season. Technically, it's hurricane season. But I ain't that worried about either one right now, man. You know? But dang, that pepperoni cheese pizza I had tonight was delicious. And it was only $6.50. I got half of it in the fridge. I usually eat the other half for breakfast. You know, about 7 hours later. And God bless whoever invented ranch dressing. Oh. And so in today's gift, Maria also sent me this cool glass cup. I don't know if it's plastic. Is it still glass? And so on my other whiskey days, I will definitely be drinking whiskey out of this. What else is there? Oh, so guys, I will do a video on this later. As you know, that's a sure sign that I need to vape. Oh. Okay, so they came out with a report that says there's a 3 times more likely scenario that the West Coast, California specifically, will undergo a very major large earthquake. That report came out today. I'll do an actual video on that later. If there are any other people in the truth community that watch me, you can do a video on that, or do a video on that, because I haven't seen anybody else do a video on it that I saw. But yeah, they came out with a report that says California's 3 times more likely now because of the big 7 earthquake we had in July last year. They're 3 times more likely to have a big earthquake now. And I was like, well, with gas giants on the same side for the next 3 to 5 or 6 years, yeah, it's in the ballpark of what I've been saying. And that for like a week, earthquakes have been relatively quiet on a larger scale. Although volcanoes have still been shitting their pants. And when I say a volcano shits its pants, that just means it erupted. Gotta translate it there for you. Don't let me get it too cheesy or self-amused, but technically I'm on vacation. And I'm spending my vacation trying to tell you guys, whoever's out there listening, like, I think they're going to try to not extend the benefits. Like, both parties are not going to do it, aren't that into it, aren't going to fight that hard for it. But I think it would help stabilize civilization over the next 6 months, regardless of who the president is. But both sides have talked about they're going to do phase 4 of pandemic preparation, where they give a lot of money to a lot of people. But it's usually corporations, banks, and companies. Tucker Carlson's going fishing. That was interesting. They outed one of his writers who apparently, in his side account, really didn't like black people. And so he got fired. And then Tucker Carlson was like, I'm going fishing. Someone else will have to sit in my chair and call protesters animals. Well, do you know, in war, that's the first thing you do to your opponent. You dehumanize them. It was like when we committed genocide on the Native Americans, we dehumanized them. They weren't human. They were like animals. They're savages. Savages and animals. Yeah? It's always like some motherfucker on a TV set or standing at a podium calling other human beings savages and animals. And now that I'm 2 beers in, I'm going to repeat this again. That I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that humanity itself manifested the plague. And so, because of our greed, our anger, our hate, our focusing on all the wrong things. And so, to this day, I still think it's uncontrolled. That it may have been geoengineered and then got out of the lab, but that, like, it wasn't planned. I know a lot of people are convinced it was planned. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would say like 90% to 95% sure, but I still say from all the stuff that I'm watching and all the things that are happening, it seems it wasn't planned. But if you are paying attention on the other levels, that, I don't know, China's been going through some major flooding problems. the United States Air Force, I think, has lost four planes and 3 pilots to crashes this year. And the Navy ship that just caught on fire. And it's been on fire for like 48 hours. Last time I checked, that Navy ship, I forget, was it the Theodore? No, I don't remember which one it is. But the Navy ship caught on fire. And it's been on fire for like 2 days. And that, I believe the U.S. Navy said that they were going to start keeping more ships in the South Sea. And we've been past the nuclear deterrent phase since the 1940s. Like, it is acknowledged that pretty much everybody has some, especially the majors, all have some type of nuclear deterrent equal weapon with 80 years of technological military industrial complex advancement. So that we are, mutually assured destruction has always been the nuclear deterrent, kind of. And so it is definitely interesting to watch. We've had a few border skirmishes, but not actual fights with Russia. Was it like 4 or 12 or 6? I don't even know. And then China and India, and then China and the USA. We're like, one, Trump will, with one face, called China the absolute reason for the plague, and then with another face say that they're still on with phase 1 of the trade deal between the USA and China, and everything's going great. I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, if it's like, oh, that reminds me. There was a quote in the Old Guard. So the 2 feature films that I can remember seeing, they're brand new during quarantine, lockdown, that blew my mind, were fantastic. I loved, super appreciate, shout out to everyone involved with making the movies, were 1, Palm Springs, Netflix, Andy Samberg and some lady who's real cute. And then J.J. Simmons, he's a good actor. That movie's really crazy and super hilarious. And the main character's named Niles. And it's about being stuck in a time loop, which is a form of immortality. And then the other movie I highly recommend for this doubleheader I'm giving you is called The Old Guard, with Cranky Weather Guy's #1 crush, Charlize Theron, who's an excellent actress and a beautiful woman. But it's a really great movie. And one of the main characters is named Niall, and it's about immortality. And so I watched that last night on vacation. So yeah, I watched Old Guard and Avengers and Iron Man 1 and 2 on my 40-hour vacation. And Old Guard was really, it was one of the best action movies I've seen in maybe a decade. We're talking like guns, bang, bang, knife action. Not supernatural magic electricity powers and shit. And so, my friends, my asteroid fight clubbers, my astonishers, if you like movies, then I recommend the double feature of Palm Springs and then The Old Guard. Although a finance reporter who I think is attractive and probably should mention that said that the actual doubleheader for that is watch Logan and then watch Old Guard. And Logan is a spectacular movie about Wolverine and his daughter. And that's kind of about immortality with an asterisk as well. Although there is no character that refers to the Nile or Niles in it. There was a cool scene in Avengers 1 where when Thor is on the deck with Coulson. And he goes, when you showed up, you changed everything. And I felt that. I was like, oh. So yeah, things are crazy. Things are wild. Things are 2020. And if you're just joining us, one of the main points that made me trip out, because I used to tell y'all, hey man, Disney's Thor was on the Avengers team that let half of all the people and all the animals die. So I'm doing much better than him because half the people and animals haven't died. And then last night when I went to check the chronological order of all the movies, it said that the last Avengers movie goes until 2022. And so I've still got another year and a half to make sure half the people and the animals do not die. Or more, you know, in a major shitty scenario. Is that Thor's hammer back there? Yes, it is. It is one of the... Technically, this is like my hammer that I got from the Palmers, the Colorado Palmers. Palmer Divide Palmers. And he was a genius billionaire just like in X-Men. And he wasn't a billionaire though. No, he scratched the billionaire part. Genius engineer, inventy guy who invented things. I got the hammer from him. But yeah, that is, like, check it out. Ooh. And then, whoa. I'm gonna need some music. But I'm gonna need like, oh. Pew 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 pew. Best Thor News vacation video ever. Pew 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 pew. Look at her now. Look at her now. That's Selena Gomez song. All right. I'm so in love with you. Baby, I'll always be true. Don't give me no, don't you give me no, don't you give me no. Pew, 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 pew. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah, and someone named Maria sent me the disco balls. I got a lot of disco balls, man. Whoa. Which means I gotta clean up my apartment and make it cool and stuff. I have multiple reasons to improve my set value since we're all gonna be hanging out. Oh, probably gonna have to get another beer though. And yeah, I brought out Thor's hammer. I've had it for a while. But I had this super cool friend named Mason. Technically, Mason may have been tougher than me. I do not know. We never fist fought, though we came close several times. Anyway, so we went and saw the first Avengers the first time. He bought me this like styrofoam, but it was so well made, and it was like $20 or something, $25. It was like 7 pounds, 6 pounds, 4 pounds, where it was like really weighted to throw. So I could throw it like 100 feet. And I had that hammer forever. But something happened to that, or maybe it's around somewhere near the ranch. I don't know, man. But you guys are great. So please, let me say thank you to everybody out there. Y'all have really spoiled me in the last month or so. And, oh, I wanted to mention, somebody sent me, there was no name on the thing, a whole package of stuff. And in that package was this Mavuco Harvest dried organic pineapple. And this shit was delicious. Like it was like beef. It was like beef jerky if beef jerky were pineapple. And one day I'm probably gonna have to get more of this stuff and eat it and beef jerky and be like, wow, this shit is so good. And I got a giant bag of freeze-dried strawberries, which ain't so giant no more. And these were super delicious too. Like eating healthy is totally possible if you have the will and a couple extra bucks, because good food is usually more expensive than shitty food. But on that note, I want to point out a weird fact. Hopefully it's funny because it's not that interesting. These are like 40 cents, 50 cents. They're called oatmeal cream pies. And they were made by Saint Little Debbie, right? But these are the big ones. And I've eaten so many of these during quarantine. I'm sick of them, but I still get them because, I don't know, man, I don't even know why I still buy them. Because I eat them and I'm like, I'm sick of you. I'm still eating you. And so, yeah, you can get like a giant Little Debbie filled with frosting for 50 cents, or you can get one of these for like $4.50. But these were like but I'm saying this shit was like, I don't know. I had a Planet Parade in my mouth with dried strawberries and dried pineapple. And so thank you. And then they still sent me coconut milk, and they sent me a bunch of stuff in that box. So you guys have just been super duper great, awesome, and fantastic. Thank you for that. It's like, but I try not to be cocky, but like, of the 7 billion people on Earth, the people out there who tried to put out good messaging, not only on the whole year 2020, but the virus, how to handle it, at least what to do, I've done a really good job. I have not regretted my stance at all. And so, I appreciate being appreciated because, you guys have seen for 5 months, you've had a giant army of people who've been like, it's a hoax. It's just a flu. You communist. And it's like, would I have been able to do it without Astro Fight Club, Jesus, Jupiter, and this Nikola Tesla ring? I guess we'll never know. I definitely couldn't have done it without Jesus, though. And I definitely couldn't have done it without Jupiter. Especially over the last decade or two, Jesus, Jim, and Jupiter. And Jim was my stepfather who passed away in 2018. And my dad, whatever. I'm going to get another beer. You can get another one if you want. Because you were doing so great, and I love Jupiter. And I'm going to have a third beer. I'm going to try and tell a joke again. No, maybe. All right. You guys heard of COVID parties? Apparently, there's been a trend in the United States where if someone young, under 35, 18 over, gets COVID-19 and the coronavirus and shows symptoms or just positive, they're like, hey, let us all have a giant party and so we can all get the virus. Now, this is like a dumb idea to me. Like, that's not Asteroid Fight Club at all. That's like the opposite of Asteroid fucking Fight Club. That's like dumbass dickweed Fight Club. And I'm not trying to make fun of anyone who got sick who died. I'm just saying. And so to me, it is the equivalent of saying, hey man, I heard one of our friends got herpes. Let's all have a giant herpes orgy to see who else can catch herpes. Simplex 1, Simplex 2, Simplex 3, I don't care. Or AIDS. Like, hey man, someone we know got AIDS. Let's have a giant orgy party to see who else can get AIDS. And that happened like the last few weeks. And almost every big gathering. Now, we don't have official tracking and tracing in the United States, but we have unofficial tracking and tracing in the United States. Where, like, with a lot of church gatherings, or with giant parties, or with any type of large group, after the event, you can track who got the coronavirus and then who got sick from it and who died. So we have had an unofficial track and trace for 5 months, 4 or 3 really, where an event was held and then after the event, a lot of people got sick and then some people died. And I'm laughing at the absurdity of everything. And that this is a story that has repeated multiple times in multiple ways over the last few months. We're not talking like 3 times. We're not talking like 10 times. We're not talking like 30 times. We're talking about like 300 times. If you are paying attention to all the news that's coming over the wire, I mean, there was a giant wedding in India where like everybody at the wedding party got infected. Every single person. And then like the groom died. But everybody at the party got infected. No offense, y'all. What a horrible way to get a fucking sickening or life-threatening infection is at a wedding. I was thinking about this today because cake is the big thing. And a few years ago when I made a video about cake fear, I got a bunch of people mad at me because they're like, oh, see, we knew you were Illuminati because you just want to let them eat cake. I was like, well, no, bro, that's not cake. It was a personal thing where cake represented marriage to me because when I think about a marriage, the main thing I would want is the woman I'd spend the rest of my life with, the wedding cake, the honeymoon, and then us living together after. Those are the things throughout my 30 years of post-puberty wanting to get married. When I think about the great things about getting married, those are the things that come along with it. Get your best friend that you live to the end with. And then the wedding cake. No matter what, every wedding cake I've ever had, and I haven't had that many, because not everybody's like, hey, let's invite Thor to the wedding. That'd be a great idea. I got to go to a few, though. The wedding cake is always I'm like, oh my God, this wedding cake is supreme. You know? And I think at one point in time, I've even been like, hey, yo, can I take a piece of your wedding cake? Your cake's huge. Can I have like 1 or 2 slices to take with me in a bag when I leave? You know, everybody's drunk, right? And then you go home, get yourself a pint of Bluebell ice cream, vanilla. And then you stuff that wedding cake into your bowl with the vanilla Bluebell ice cream. And when you eat Bluebell and wedding cake from a real wedding, it is like heaven. It is super. So like I have a magic love affair with wedding cake. And so when I did get married, you know, that's what I was excited about. But now everybody's on Twitter is photoshopping, real caking. I know that my nephew had a birthday cake and he had like a fish. I think it was like a fish and it was like a real cake, but it looked like a fish in a fishing pole, but it was like a work of art. Anyway, so now Twitter's big thing. Remember when they have the dress, is it blue, is it white? Now like you get no say and it's cake, but it's not cake. It is cake. And then guillotine jokes. What is it talking about? Oh, yeah, so weddings are subtly on the mind of Americans, I guess. Or maybe it's me. Shit's crazy though, bro. Ninjas could kick in my door and then slice my head off any minute now. It's possible. My mouth definitely has talked some shit over the last 30 years. Sometimes I'm too good with words. Oh. So yeah, 2 points I would love to make is you watched as saying, they aren't in a big hurry to help the post office. As a matter of fact, they're putting the post office in a position to where the post office itself could fail at some point. I'm a big fan of the post office, man. I think the post office has been awesome for a very long time, and almost every postman or woman I've ever known in my life of knowing post people have been super awesome. And usually when you go to the USPS to mail off a package, no matter how crazy or impatient or unknowing people can be in line, the post office people are usually keeping their cool. And so if I did get to hammer home 2 things that Thor News on vacation at Jupiter opposition, I'm big on saving the post office. Like, I don't give a fuck your political leanings, man. The post office is cool. And post office been around. The American post office is very American. And they have brought billions of smiles to American faces over the years. Christmas cards, birthday cards, gifts. The post office has done a great job. And if you are going to knowingly know that people are going to be staying home a lot more than usual over the next 2 years, you want to treat your post office good and keep your post office people safe. So I'm big on the post office, and like I said, I'm big on extending the unemployment benefits, and our Republicans and Democrats doing what they can in phase 4 of the printer go brrrr, of taking care of the poor, for lack of a better word, and the middle class, for lack of a better word, and even like people under 500 grand. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people, everybody's, they looking rich. Okay, I'm not signaling anybody out, but I like to do this thing. Like, every week I check Selena Gomez news, just as like some weird barometer. And it was like, Selena Gomez from her front yard promotes new Puma Unity shoes that are colorful or something. And I was like, okay, I can one up that, dude. Like, I would like to promote my Thor News shoes that I've been wearing these for a couple years now, and I still wear them to this day, sometimes without socks at all. These are so comfortable. They're called N1s. I got them at Walmart. They were $10. But they were like, dude, these are so comfortable. They're like superhero shoes that, like, I've gone a lot of places, done a lot of cool stuff. I've gone a lot of miles in these things. But I could definitely recommend and promote these. We are all in this together. Thor News and One. I don't know. I think you get them at Walmart. I don't even know if they make them. But if I was going to do a commercial, I guess I'm doing it for that pineapple I was talking about earlier and my shoes. Like I was saying, I know a lot of people have, for the last decade or two, or since 1980 when greed was good, people have, been like keeping up with the Joneses. We're like, you got to have the hottest new shoes. You got to have 100 pair of shoes. You got to have a ring on every finger. You got to have diamonds on your pinky ring. You got to have 3 jets. You got to have a nice car. You got to have. And that, so, a lot of times in the last 40 years, people have been spending money on how they project themselves to other people. So that, like, everybody's been trying to live in an Instagram ad. And for the next 6 months, we are all in Space Force, 2 years. And so we need to dial back to where everybody needs the basics, man. And everybody's basically getting paid to be cool, play good defense, and keep it together. And then figure out what type of world we want to have in 2023. I'm just talking to you straight up like it is, like the truth. And I am the guy who in the earliest of February warned you we had lockdown coming in the middle of March. And then in May, I was like, look, dude, I don't know exactly when the lockdowns are coming back. Technically, it can be at the very start of July. Technically, it can be August, depending on how we all play this. But sure shit enough, it was like the first week of July, it was back. Or even July 1st. And even though I've not watched more than the first movie or two, the Mockingbird, To Catch a Mockingbird movie, what was it? With Katniss? Hunger Games. So not like we're in an American Hunger Games over the next 2 years. And so in these Hunger Games, do we want 30 million more Americans to get an extra cash influx of their unemployment benefits to play defense? Yes. Yes, I do. Do you guys ever read anime? Do you guys ever read Battle Royale? I think it's like in high school, except all the high school kids have to kill each other down to the last one. That is what we're looking to avoid here. We're looking to avoid and minimize starvation and homelessness at a point where unemployment is through the roof. And there is no clear, solid plan to move forward. So, and you know, you guys are going to hear me talk about this, I don't know, for the next 10 days, because they expire after 10 days. And I think letting it expire, not everyone agrees with me, is a major mistake. And I was talking about today, because they were showing photos from 1918 and where it was all like wear a mask in 1918 and everybody's like that. And I was thinking, like, back then in 1918, they would have been like, hey man, the Spanish flu is a hoax brought on by the Illuminati and the Democrats to get Woodrow Wilson reelected. And I'm sure, you know, so can you imagine having like 30 or 40 or 50 million Americans back in 1918 going, hey man, this shit is all just a fucking hoax, trying to get Woodrow Wilson reelected. I mean, if I remember correctly, the plague killed Nostradamus' entire family. And a wife and kids, dude. And it killed like tons of people in his town. But he survived. That has always blown my mind. You do not have to be as fascinated or as obsessed with Nostradamus as I have been over my life. But he has been a pretty good guide for us this whole time. At least warning us what might come ahead of us in 2020. And then, I don't know, it was like Biden today announced that he was going to have a $2 trillion new energy deal. And I have told y'all many times before that unless they're ready to tell the people the truth about energy, it all seems sort of fucking meaningless. When they talk about green deals or energy deals, like, if they're not going to tell people anything close to the truth, then it all seems like a shit can move, bro. I mean, I say that from the heart with honesty. Technically, I may or may not be putting myself in severe danger every single time I mention that. God bless Art Bell. And so, you know, when people talk to me about New World Order, I'm like, bro, oil's been like the New World Order god for like 130 fucking years, man. In my opinion, that's what it's felt like. Oil has been the god that we have worshipped. The whole fucking planet has bowed down to the oil god. Thank you, petroleum. Thank you for the thing between lava and dirt. And is it ball worship? I don't know. But I know that is why I do not get excited about Republicans and I do not get excited about fucking Democrats, because until people start talking about taking honest steps forward with energy, it seems like we're going to be playing the same stupid monkey reindeer games. Saying Elon Musk is their savior. Who knows? Maybe he'll... I don't know. I've talked about Elon enough. Cheers. Now, someone talking about the markets crashing. One area I've gotten wrong multiple times, especially through astrology, when I tried to time a market crash, other than the one that happened in March, I haven't been, and that wasn't a super crash, that I'm starting to wonder, with them pouring so much currency, credit, and debt into the system over the last 20 years, the monetary base of the world has gone up exponential like a fucking hockey stick. There's no doubt about that. Them keeping it in the hands of a few, asterisk, has allowed inflation to stay at bay. I hope you understand that. But I'm wondering, what if there's, especially with cryptocurrencies, which opens like a quadrillion-dollar gateway, like, can you even have crashes anymore? That meaning that like the stages before hyperinflation are, it just keeps going up until it just doesn't stop going up, and it goes up way too high, way too fast. And so that's the whole thing about the market crash, is other people have tried to say, hey, it's going to crash here, it's going to crash there, and it just doesn't crash. I haven't ruled out a market crash by any means, but I think the market crashes when they want it to crash, or it just fucking breaks. And then it breaks to the upside. That if I understand this fact correctly, no currency or economy has ever collapsed from deflation. That they all collapse from hyperinflation or too much deflation of the currency. None of them collapse because the currency deflates. And so that's pretty powerful statistic fact right there, in my opinion. And they keep coming out with tons of articles over the last few months talking about how billionaires have made so much money in the last 3 to 4 months. Like, they're all making a killing. Oh, another subject I didn't get into that I want to mention, because I kind of looked into it. That one of the least fun parts of the last 5 months has been asking people to wear a mask. Telling people, hey, dude, wear a fucking mask. If you're going in a store, wear a mask. Like, if you're going into an indoor setting close to people, wear a fucking mask, bro. That has not been fun. And that if you say it on Twitter, if you say it on Facebook, if you say it on a YouTube video, you're gonna get a bunch of people yelling at you, calling you names, fucking saying you're a Satanist, saying you're fucking Luminati. Like, you're just gonna get a ton of people firing arrows at you. Pew, 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 pew. Now, these arrows do not kill you, but they just like, they're energy dense. And they don't feel good. And they wear you down. And so I looked at a lot of the pop stars and celebrities, at least the ones I focused on. And all of them supported the Black Lives Matter movement. And Black Lives Matter, absolutely. Without a doubt, 400 years of systemic racism, black people have gotten the short end of the stick many times in many ways. But I've not been a fan of protesting in 2020 by any means and have never supported it. And so, to me, indirectly, by all the celebrities being like, we are BLM right now, they're indirectly supporting the protesting, and not a single one of them that I've seen is like, wear a fucking mask. I just wanted to throw that tiny point out there. Because if you're just joining us, yeah, I believe they're trying to trick Republicans and Democrats into getting the fucking virus, and that has been my stance for a while. I just don't think the risk reward with protests is great. And I've watched people protesting for 30, 40 years. And I've been making fun of protesters for like 30 years. It's been like, somehow I didn't get funny at it anymore. But like the people who were protesting, it just never seemed, of all the energy put into a protest, it never really seems to have a major effect against the state or the corporations. Although they don't protest corporations, they boycott them. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, man. I think some dark magicians transmuting human energy into money. And so, like, they like to gather people in large groups. So we're going to need to have a big experiment over the next 3 months trying to get everybody to be like, hey, dude, just wear a mask. And let's see what happens. And the people who talk about dying because you wore a fucking mask, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I haven't seen any reports where, like, Johnny died because that fucker wore a mask. Although, I take that back. I think there was a woman who wore N95 for like 18 hours straight and died. I don't know. It's balance, man. Ma'am, y'all. Mandatory earplugs. I guess that's the benefit of staying home all the time. I ain't really got to listen to anybody I don't want to. Have you ever watched Saturday Night Live? There's a skit called Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood with Eddie Murphy. If you have, and you'll understand that on the days that you guys have been so amazing and sent me some type of a package, when they do knock at the door, donk, 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 I channel my best Mr. Robinson, go, who is it? Who is it? You know, I think it's funny. So, happy Jupiter opposition. The themes of this video have been, I would highly recommend extending unemployment benefits to 30 million Americans. America needs a 2-year plan. This thing ain't going away in November 4th. You can wish cast that shit all you want. It will be as effective as me saying Selena Gomez is going to show up and we are going to dance the night away. I can say it a million times. I can post it a million times. And it just doesn't turn out to be true. And so the president keeps saying it's going to disappear. I keep hearing other people say it's going to disappear November 4th. Look, bro, it is not going the fuck away. India just locked the fuck down again. Like if you watch all the grids, like if you had a grid in your mind of the whole world who keeps like going back into lockdown, it's like a super game of whack-a-mole around the globe where you keep having outbreaks. And then, like, you can have a New Zealand who has tiny outbreaks and then they fix it and handle it. Or you can have us where you're having major cities have, like, it's like rolling waves. And so, depending on how we react to it, adapt to it, have a plan for it, you know, the shittier we're going to do. Did I mention that they said that there was a 3 times greater chance that there was going to be a major earthquake in California? That was one of the things I want to talk about, and I did. Although I'll make another video about that. What else? Oh, the funniest thing I've seen on the internet. I'll have to put it in a video for y'all. But scientists recreated, they did a 3D scan of a mummy throat and the guy's face and jaw. And so then they recreated a sound that mummy might make. And it's the funniest, it's like, I'll have to show it to you. Out of context, it's not as funny, but the fact that they spent so much time and millions of dollars just to make a mummy go, is, you know, it's hilarious. It's the funniest, like, Oh yeah, and then I mentioned I've been watching the Avengers. And there's a part where Thor's talking to Loki and he's like, it's my job to protect Earth. And Loki's like, oh, well, you're doing a great job at that. And I felt that shit too. So it feels like we've got Loki driving everybody crazy, trying to get everybody to fight all the time. And believing in giant lies. And then we got Thanos who's actually going around killing people, but slowly. Instead of a snap, it's more of like a 2-year thing. Because I saw that the last Avengers movie ends in 2022. Someone says Kelly is dead. I don't know who Kelly is, but in the last week we've had Charlie Daniels die, Star from Glee die. I don't watch that show. And then a guy from Mythbusters, who apparently everybody liked, was a really cool science guy. From the outpouring of his friends and his photographs and what people say about him, he seemed to be greatly liked, and he was only 49. And I'm 48. So, I think she was 30 or 33 or 32, I don't know. So as I mentioned, that like not only death has been heavy in 2020, and death will probably continue to be heavy in 2020. We don't know who's gonna go, who's gonna stay, who's gonna make it. honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be around. I'm pretty sure I'll be here for about 10 more years. Though I looked it up. The guy from the Mythbusters show died of an aneurysm. And dying of an aneurysm at 49 is usually, I mean, it's not, that's, I mean, technically an aneurysm can take out anybody at any time, but being a healthy person and then just having an aneurysm. Oh, and another study I saw, it came out on Zero Hedge. So, if you are a conservative or Republican who doesn't listen to the mainstream media or anyone on the left, this factoid came out of Zero Hedge, which like a couple weeks ago said we're conservative. And I was like, what? When the fuck? What? Did Godlike Productions buy y'all out? Anyway, they said that of all the people who got coronavirus and were hospitalized, 53% of them had heart damage. And so one thing that isn't being discussed much, and I've seen in countless stories, is that the people who get COVID, you have conditions that last months after you're out of the hospital. Like you still need treatment, you still need therapy, you still need medicine. And your energy levels don't come back very fast at all. And as a 48-year-old man who's been off his Adderall for a while, that was prescribed to me, and is 48, if there's one thing that is important to you as an individual, it's your energy levels as you get older. You know, I miss having the days where I had boundless energy, where I was like Calvin and Hobbes at age 35. That was nice. Even at age 45, it was great. And so all the reports that I've read from people talking about getting COVID and surviving, but having it doing lasting damage, they basically say that it messes with your energy levels for a long time. And I have said I may have gotten some type of a virus, whether it be COVID in November and October, and that my energy levels have been super sketchy since. So, you know, I don't know, I'm sticking with my stance of avoid that shit like the plague. And Zero Hedge is talking about the people who need health care are going to be rapidly increasing due to the virus itself, which is a whole nother reason to avoid it. Oh yeah, and I'm too fat, but whatever. Like Disney's Thor, I am your quarantine king. But we're all kings and queens, man. Don't shit cake over that, you know. Oh, and that cake is somehow a big deal. That's fine. I gotta go back and recut the cake fear video I made it, and it was partially about there was a lady at one point in time where she feared cake. That was her number one fear in life, that she couldn't see cake or she would break down and freak out. So that she really had cake fear. And so she had to go her whole life doing what she could to avoid ever seeing cake. And I was like, hey guys, we've reached peak fear. Cake fear. And then to me, the cake represented marriage, but then the cake fear would represent being trapped in a marriage where it wasn't happy, it wasn't good. And as a male, you don't get any sex at all after you got married. You know, I've always super feared that in the back of my mind, to think that may have influenced why I have not been married yet. You know? Oh, since we're such great friends, can I tell you about a weird thing I have, you know, that I've recognized that, like, when you date a woman, you can be like the apple of her eye. And that, like, you're her favorite thing on the planet, and you can just make her happy, smile, no matter what. All your tricks are awesome. She's just so happy and cool. Like you're the bee's knees, man. But then that usually leads to the couple having a baby. And then once the baby is born, or the babies, then the babies become the apples of your lady's eye. You know? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if I do find my lady, I would like 2 or 3 years while I could be the apple of her eye before I had to give up being the apple of her eye. All right. And so there's that great fear of like, okay, let's say I am in love. I am in a relationship. You know, that's a lot of performance anxiety because you have to be that like other person's everything every day. Like you have to be the handsomest ever. You got to be the funniest ever. You got to be the most. So I'm single. I don't know about you. So I like to think about this shit a lot. I will work on making it way funnier. I'll try. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd love to be the apple of her eye for the rest of my life, you know, just. And I think it can be easy to be the apple of my eye. Asterisk, you know. Oh, and so now that we missed the window in February to destroy the plague and at the start of July to destroy the plague, we're going to be dealing with this shit for 2 more years. I'm not going to promise you, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the 2-year period, I'm going to finish my Western. I've been writing a ton of movies for a while, and I was like starting a new one. It's a new challenge. And so I wrote like the first 10 pages of a new Western a couple months ago. And so I'm going to finish my Western. And it's going to be fun, and I'm not going to let it get too big. Most of the time when I start writing a movie, it just gets super giant. I don't know if you guys have seen some pictures I've shown you, but I just keep expanding the worlds and the characters and the depths and the levels. So I got to try not to do that this time. But I got 2 years, so who knows? And you have Netflix now, so I just have to really write the excellent first pilot. How much beer you got left? How much beer? I got half beer left. 55 people. Sex system sounds complicated. All right, now I'm talking about adult stuff. I'm on vacation, dude. Well, yeah, performance anxiety. Like, I don't know if you are going to hook up with someone. Like, even if I was to hook up with someone in the future, I'm going to feel some pressure to be the greatest lover they've ever had. And depending on how many partners that person has had, that may be a tall order. I definitely need to do some sit-ups. And thank you. There are several things I can say right now. I'm not going to. start getting outside more. And someone said, wow, dude, you're huge. Yeah. How do I put this? That I have been playing defense really well, and I deal with my own. QAnon and his buddies are fucking local, and I believe they have an absolute financial incentive if I were to not be on Earth anymore. All right, so like if you thought there were dudes out there that would take pot shots at you in your neighborhood and technically have been trying to fucking kill you or drive you homeless for 2.5 years, you might be staying inside. Like, I may not go out on my porch for extended periods for another 6 fucking months. I might gain another 10 or 20 pounds. But every day that I'm still alive and here doing what I do, I'm driving them fucking crazy, bro. And the last time I was in shape, which was, I don't know, December 2017, I'm still a little pudgy. You know, Taylor Swift came and spent 2 nights in my apartment, and then everybody wanted to fucking kill me. And then Elon Musk was a fucking total dick. And then QAnon. Like, I have pissed off a fucking lot of people, man. So yeah, sure. I need to go outside. And I need to get in shape. And now I'm huge. Hello? I wear size 12s. But I always appreciate good defensive advice, but I'm pretty excellent at taking care of myself and my own survival. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, even just, not even with Taylor and the QAnon people and Elon, like, they're all fucking interconnected. The music mafia. There's so many, the oil and gas, like, I don't know, man. A lot of those people live in my fucking city or come in and out often. It's exciting, though. And I don't know, when guys are freaked out by my weight, it never really bothers me. I'm like, what? Why are you worried about what I look? Do you need me to have fucking washboard abs, bro? What part of this fantasy do you need me during quarantine time to be in Chris Helmsworth's shape? Oh, I'm getting another beer. I'm huge! But I'd like to take this time to remind you, from 4th grade to my freshman year in college, I played football. And I've been in like 23 fist fights in my life. I never started a single one. The person would have to throw the punch first, and then we would fight. And I fought 5 or more guys like 5 times, 6 times in my life. Me versus like 5 dudes going, I won't back down. And so, if you go back to the video that I took in 2017, at the beginning of 2017, I think it was, what I've been told is the sexiest video I ever did. It was all about humidity. Dude, I lost 30 pounds in a single month. Because I would just walk around, I would drink beer every night and then walk around the ranch for like 3 hours in the humidity every night. And so I have made a prediction that I will be in excellent shape in 2023. And I mean, I'll try to get in better shape in the near future. And I know in Avengers Endgame, Fat Thor has long hair. But the ladies know what I'm talking about. But dude, short hair feels so much better. That's why with Captain Marvel, she may not be a lesbian. Maybe she just likes having the wind on the back of her neck. I have not watched Captain Marvel yet. I love you guys. Ooh, but if there are knocks against me when I hear people insulting me, they're usually like, you're a fat fearmonger. I'm like, oh, well, that's fascinating. Why do I make you scared? What am I saying that scares you? It's okay. It's gonna be okay. So bad. I'm having fun on my vacation. I'm so glad that you 56 people are here with me, and I got 33 likes. Oh no. FFM. Oh, I probably cut it again. I cut it myself. But technically, I shouldn't be that worried because every time I step out of the house, I get some type of helicopter or plane that seems to follow me around and make sure I'm okay. So maybe I am just lazy. But I definitely think if you could have save points, like if I walked 5 miles and then could have a save point to where the very next day I could teleport to that place, that would be great. That would help me out a lot. Live life to the fullest. Absolutely. And so I keep trying to manifest a car or a moped. I mean, I'm sure I could learn to ride a motorcycle. Other than that, I think I'm doing, as I've mentioned before, 2018 was the hardest year I've ever had in my entire life. So to me, 2020 is much easier to deal with than 2018. It's like the last 40 hours, I've been in just a great mood. It's part of why I haven't made videos. Because I've just been really happy. And, part of that was watching Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers, and The Old Guard. With like 2 Frasier episodes mixed in. Yeah, 2018 was fucking rough. And I think in that time we lost my stepdad, who was one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. We lost Stan Lee. It was like the Marvick Excelsior. And then we lost William Goldman. And so when I show you my screenplays and stuff, like I read most of the screenwriting professor books and the head dudes like Sid Field and Joseph McKee and that William Goldman, who also wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He wrote A Princess Bride, and then he wrote 2 books on screenwriting. And so I read those books over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so he was like one of my Jedi mentors. And so that year was so fucking rough for me. And that was when, I dealt with all, like when Taylor was in the worst of her, like, I am the king of the world. I am the divine feminine here to punish all mankind. I will destroy the patriarchy while making, I will destroy you. It was fucking crazy, bro. That was crazy shit. I'm like, calm down, Lucifer. Motherfucker. Oops. Language. Good vibes. But I would guess Taylor is much humbler today than she was at the beginning of 2018 or the middle of 2018. I mean, she was still with Big Machine Records then. It was before she made the movie Cats. It was before her last album came out. It was before she had to cancel her tour. So in that whole one-on-one duel, whoa, thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Alchemy. Thank you. So in that duel, like I don't know, whatever fun rivalry I have with Taylor and Grand Solar Minimum, I love it. I'm cool with it. I don't wish any of them ill will. I'm okay disagreeing and having different styles and philosophies. And I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be here 10 years from now. Good vibes, yeah. I'm on vacation. But, okay, this couch I'm on, you know what was a sign that I know that I'm fat and I'm too fat? My couch was broke. Like, so I'm sleeping on a broken couch all the time. But it feels very Planetary Defense Commandery. And that when we start doing better, I can sleep on something better than a broken fucking couch. But for now, yeah, it's really uncomfortable. But 2020 is really uncomfortable. So I have to be calm and appreciative in an uncomfortable situation. All right, I'm gonna do it. I guess I'm drunk. Shit, can you hold on 1 second? So you guys keep saying good vibes. So I gotta go to the bathroom again though. Cheers, y'all. So I'm like, still skinnier than, I'm still a little skinnier than George R.R. Martin and Samuel Tarly. And maybe someday, in a safe environment, you guys will understand how well I know QAnon. Please. So, it definitely has the Thor Loki kind of a feel to it from my side. I'm so in love with you. Not you, Q. I mean, I love you like a brother, bro. Though I would love it if you and your team would shape up. But the music mafia and the oil and natural gas industry and the propaganda division are very fucking stubborn. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look at the internet for one fucking second. Oh, hey. Ooh. All right, because it's Jupiter opposition day, I love you guys. What is it? Fly me to the moon. Let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. It's Frank Sinatra. Alright, I'm now about to vape. If you have a vape stick or any type of smoke device, I would love for you to join me. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Oh, but I have been going through these Christian periods of torment because Daredevil was my favorite comic book as a kid. And Scarlett Johansson is definitely one of the most beautiful women that's ever lived. And so she's married now to one of the coolest guys on the planet, Colin Jost. And they are probably the coolest couple on Earth. And I would love it if they would do a quarantine series. But that's a lot to ask. Anywho, so like watching Avengers 1 and 2, you know, I'm having to like mentally wipe away like 40 years of programming her, you know, every time I watch it. Which is difficult. At times, you know, mostly. But I'm working on it. I'm doing great. Crap, I keep hitting the wrong button. Thank you. True love. God bless you. Times are crazy. And God bless Texas and everyone else. Okay. Woo! Now, my production values go way down. I haven't even vaped yet. Thank you guys. Like, you guys have been incredible. If you're just joining me, technically I'm on vacation I've been on vacation. I broke down and bought Disney Plus a few days ago. The first thing I watched was Iron Man 2, and then I watched Iron Man 1, and then I watched Avengers 1. And The Old Guard. If you just joined us, I've recommended watching Palm Springs and The Old Guard. And nobody knows what they're going to do with the Marvel Universe, the X-Men. But I just want to say, I think Colin Jost and Che, the tag team duo from Saturday Night Live Update, I think it would be cool to reboot Power Man and Iron Fist as those two. But then the concentration would be on to make it as funny as fucking possible. Yeah, there would be action and shit, but I would want to make it as funny as fucking possible. And of course the Black Widow would have cameos. I love you guys. You guys are way too cool, and thank you. And yeah, God bless Texas. And that's a weird thing, you know, like when Texas has to circle the wagons over the next 6 months and next 2 years. And Asteroid Fight Club is global, and I gotta look out for local and state. And I think Texas can do really well over the next 10 years. Hold on a second. Yeah, my belly's too big. So in the future, I would definitely like to be a little less Orson Welles, but I'm gonna enjoy the Orson Welles period while I'm here. Knee deep in the hoopla. Sinking in your fight. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. And I think you guys know, one of my missions for like 5 years has been to bring back rock and roll. Corporation games! Who cares? They're always changing corporation names. Someone stole the stage! Someone stole the stage. And that's weird, is YouTube is the stage, man. And so by YouTube being a digital stage, they can gatekeep rock and roll all day. I'll get talking to probably in a little bit. Maybe. I'm just here with you, enjoying these Jupiter moments. And I would like to point out again, 1 week from today, Saturn will be in opposition with Earth. And I have been going through a Saturn conjunction through Sagittarius and Capricorn for like 5.5 years, man. And so it's like, imagine having to hang out with Saturn every day for 5.5 years. I'm not complaining. Saturn and I have become friends. I see Saturn as neutral. Everybody has their own interpretations of Saturn. But I see all the planets as neutral towards human beings. Or like an actual whole giant planet isn't attacking us. It doesn't mean that there aren't creatures on the planet who have their own plots and plans towards humans. That's a totally different thing. I'm saying the overall planet themselves are neutral in our realm. So like at this point I'm cool with Saturn. And I think Saturn is cool with me. And so the energy's been great. And remember the big full moon eclipse we had 4th of July night? That energy for me was fantastic. Remember all those super fireworks shows in Colorado and the West Coast? That was a good night. And so this opposition has been great for me. And I have a feeling this week will probably be pretty good. Well, I'll be in a good mood, so you guys are going to have to deal with me being in a good mood. I hope. I don't know, I might get pissed about something. It is Mars and Aries for 6 month season as well, with Eris up in everybody's business all the time. And then Neptune dipping in and out to make everybody like believe in weird crap or delude themselves, which happens to me as well. Cheers, y'all. And thank you guys. And like I said, you guys have been spoiling me. And I super, super, super appreciate that. And I'm definitely going to work on that Western. And I would recommend everybody have some type of 1 to 2 year project. So we have to reflect on our history while figuring out the future. Woohoo! We got this. Do I look scared? Do I look scared, bro? Woo! Someone sent me this kick-ass light just the other day. I was like, man, I need more light because my light setup is not super optimal. That triple light game, quadruple if you count the one over my head. Sweet, thank you. And you are not scary to me as well. Even the people who disagree with me or get mad, I'm not scared of you. And I respect your right to disagree, but I have high confidence in the stuff I believe in. And I do believe we're going to get to a better place. Civilization almost collapses often, at least in the last decade or two. But every single time we've saved it and pulled it together. Raquel. I do like saying ladies' names. Air mattress. Raquel, I still have the mattress, but I spent a couple hours on it with Taylor, and so it's like cursed. So I have a good, decent mattress, dude, that is comfortable, and I can sleep on a real. It's better than an air mattress. I can sleep on a real mattress. I don't have box springs. Box springs are like the biggest scam ever. Like, you don't need no motherfucking box springs. Just like, so, you know, like your bed set is always that much extra because of box springs. It's not a discussion we need to have now. I'm just saying that, like, and items can hold weird power to them. So that, like, yeah, dude, I have that mattress, so I can, technically all I'd have to do is clean my room, and then I could have a good night's sleep on a mattress. But it seems like the Planetary Defense Commander move is to be uncomfortable on this broken couch for a while. I literally, honestly, I thought that by now that, like, well, you know, over the last year, someone would have swooped in and been like, hey, we can hang out for like 3 days and we'd stay in a hotel or something. That was nice. But that didn't happen. I don't know. Same Santa Monica. My favorite places on the planet. It's always beautiful. Thank you very much. And I will put it towards cleaning my room. I'll put it towards cleaning products then. And then I will just sage the fuck out of that mattress. Yeah, I still have sage sticks somewhere in this unclean, dirty ass apartment that is jumbled, filled with shit everywhere. So I will sage the heck out of it, and then I'll surround it with my bags of healing crystals. But I will not be like doing any like pre-planned spell shit. I will just be like, yay, you know, and maybe that'll help. So thank you. Oh, and I'll buy fucking candles because candles are magical. I don't know why, but anytime you light a candle and you just keep it around you, it makes the day or the moment feel a little more Harry Potter. And I am not Harry Potter, anti-Harry Potter in any way. I know muggles that are, you know, although they come on to the Google to say that Harry Potter is evil. Like, bitch, you had to fucking use Google to tell me that. And so, if you use AI magic or digital magic to say that candle magic is evil, but I'm not doing no spell, like I'm not writing names down in a book and a piece of paper and then burning it. Like they do actual spells, but they have like people in the world, like they have a bunch of spells, like different religions have had some type of spells where like if you do these things will happen. There's a whole different physics discussion we can get into, and intention, and or just like if you have like a weird, like if you have people, like if you had people for like 500 years going, if we all three go around the tree 5 times, 3 times, it will make so-and-so pact last. Like, you've had so many weird people doing this for so long that nobody's going to say, like, well, it didn't really work, bro. I don't know if I said that as funny as I could, but I'm just saying that, like, magic surrounds us. Words are super magic. So every time you speak a motherfucking word, you are being a magician. You are influencing people around you. So like that is the weird, like, I don't know if you were like using old spells that other people used before to get to a specific goal, which is usually punishing someone or money or sex based, then yeah, that seems like what could be called black magic. I'm not engaged in that shit. But I think like if I play my guitar or I light a candle and just be happy, that's like a good magic. All right, great. Thanks, Jupiter. People be like, he's possessed by Jupiter. I'll be like, well, you know, I am a bit jovial, and Jupiter has always felt like a father planet. Where I could look up at the sky and either Orion or Jupiter, I would just look up and be like, they were always strong, solid figures that made me look at and question and appreciate. Like, Jupiter and Orion have always been cool to me my whole life, without a doubt, without question, and have come to me in the sky many times in so magical ways where they're just so big and bright and beautiful and above me and with the clouds or whatever, that like I am so glad to have Jupiter and Orion as my sidekicks, or I'm their sidekick or buddy or whatever, that I like to like stuff. I love to love stuff. And I definitely love Orion. And I definitely love Jupiter. And throughout my life, they have both been there for me my whole life. Not always there every day, but when I needed to hang out with them, they were there. Yes, Orion's right shoulder got a hitch in it. Mine did as well. I mean, Betelgeuse dimmed. Betelgeuse dimmed. That's true. And that's another thing that be fun, where like if I got to have actual decent civil conversation with Grand Solar Minimum, I would love to talk to Grand Solar Minimum about like okay, dude, what if the whole what if the sun dimmed for like a month and a half and just got like 50% dimmer or 40% dimmer than usual? So everyone walked outside and was like, hey dudes, the sun is like 30% dimmer than usual. That is weird, huh? And that's possible. Thank you, Raquel. I gotta remember to recycle and more cleaning supplies. I promise. And a candle. That's what that was one of the biggest science things that has happened. And a verifiable, realistic science thing that we all know and can go out and verify. Like, is this star dimmer than it used to be? And so we watched one of the stars of my favorite constellation, Orion, the man in the sky, get dimmer. And I was like, man, that is weird. And if what they tell us is true, and that our sun is a star, and those stars are big but far away, that Betelgeuse dimming at the end of 2019 was major. So like, hey Biden, what the fuck? What do you think? Why do you think Betelgeuse dimmed? Hey Trump, why the fuck do you think Betelgeuse dimmed? Hey, people in the GSM, like it would be great to be able to have that. Even, hey, Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, why did Betelgeuse dim? That was one of the coolest fucking things that happened. And it barely registered on our radar. And so many times at Thor News, I've told you, people have talked about 3 days of darkness. And that as a writer, screenwriter, poet, just the even idea of 3 days of darkness is super cool, magical, weird, like, possible, not necessarily probable, but it could happen. People have talked about it. Like, so Betelgeuse dimmed for a while, but then got bright again and then even brighter. And so if the sun got like 30% dimmer, think of how crazy that would be, and people would freak out, though technically nobody would die. We might have some weird weather, but I would think that it is possible in the whole grand scheme of things, especially over the next 10 years. And so that like even a term like Grand Solar Minimum, like that wouldn't have encapsulated or captured like what stars or our star is capable of doing. And so, I don't know, anytime we get into binary options, I'm not a big fan of that. Like saying it's either normal solar cycle or it's grand and it's down. I don't think anybody fucking knows, man. And I love talking about the sun. There's one of the things that I'm the most about, being like, dude, nobody knows what the fucking sun is going to do. And then I realized, and I like it when other people realize, that you got $1 trillion, $100 trillion oil industry who benefits greatly from human beings not asking a lot of questions about the sun or solar energy and petroleum. Now, technically, instead of being powered by the sun, we're still powered by the shit we got to dig out of the dirt. You know? And so that, like, we are allowed to talk about whatever the petroleum dirt farmers are telling us. And I want to be like, man, I want to be talking about fucking Betelgeuse. I don't want to be talking about Donald Trump. I want to be talking about Betelgeuse and our sun and Jupiter and Saturn coming together. Like, these are, like, we have this giant open window now as our solar system is in a planet parade and Jupiter and Saturn are doing this giant fucking dance. We got Comet Neowise. We've got all these things in the sky that are magnificent. And that is another thing. I have not seen Neowise, though I've checked many times. If I had a car or a moped or a motorcycle, I definitely would have found a darker spot and found that comet. You know, I found it, and then I'll probably grab my... I'm going to get one more beer if you don't mind. If y'all don't mind. You guys are amazing. Oh, 23. If I say 23 3 times, Jim Carrey shows up. 23, 23, 23. And the mask that Jim Carrey wore in The Mask was called Loki's mask. We have a Loki theme here tonight because I rewatched Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers 1, and like the first 20 minutes of Avengers Ultron. Where like Thor's like, I want to protect Earthlings. And then Loki's like, no, I want to rule Earthlings. And so like I said, that Agent Coulson said that like when Thor showed up, it changed everything for everybody. And at times I've felt that way. And it's hard to describe, but if we get into the Valiant Thor stuff, was it talking about? Oh, I'm out of beer. And you guys are great. And that mattress. And I bought that mattress. Yeah, I should clean up because I bought that mattress in December of 2017 when Saturn went from Sagittarius to Capricorn. So Saturn went from Jupiter's house to Saturn's house. And so as soon as Saturn went into Capricorn, as soon as that happened, I bought that mattress. Because if you were going to have a lady show up at your apartment for a couple of days, you can't have her sleep on the fucking couch, bro, or an air mattress. I don't think that's how it works. Oh, anywho. And so now that Saturn has retrograded back into Capricorn after going into Aquarius for a couple months, it does make sense that I conquer all demons, get them out of this apartment, figure out what to do with the fucking gnats that are over my sink that may be nanobots, clean everything, rearrange my entire apartment to make it way more video specific with all my toys that keep coming in, you know? All these like Eris apples and then disco balls. So yeah, thanks, Raka. Thank you guys for a Fight Club. Yeah, so I can forgive that damn mattress. Oh. And I still gotta say, between us, if you would have seen the smile on her face that next morning, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And in the 1,000 photographs of her that I've seen, I've never, ever, ever seen her smile that big in a single photograph. All right. Hey, babies. Uh-oh. Beer makes me cocky, though. Alright, I'm on vacation. Why am I acting like I'm sober? And in like 2 hours in, I'm talking about all the important stuff like solidifying unemployment benefits and doing what we can to help all people, having a safe SNAP food program for all people over the next 6 months. Get everybody to be cool. Avoiding World War III like we've done 100 times since 2013. What's talking about? Oh, but so yes, this portion of the video is brought to you not only by Asteroid Fight Club, but my sponsors, mouthwash. You want to kiss somebody? Nobody likes breath that sucks. That burns. I forgot a beer. Oh. And cleaning products. Like this awesome cleaner with bleach. There's only a dash left though. You hear that? But this is awesome cleaner with bleach. So yeah. Mouth antiseptic and cleaning products. And beer. Woo! I'm on vacation. And at times I've been like, man, I'm gonna wait to have a girlfriend to teach me shit I don't know how to do, like Instagram or color my hair. And so now, since I've been drinking, I'm on vacation. I don't know what color this is. So now, this is how you do it. You just go like, crap. It doesn't seem like it's. This feels less like coloring my hair and just putting melted crayon wax in there. Is it showing up? That was one of the reasons I thought hanging out with Billie Eilish would be cool. She could help teach me how to color my fucking hair. All right. That color is more subtle. This is like a blue, baby. All right. Now we're gonna go with the dramatic yellow. Hi, if you're just joining us, I'm drunk and on vacation. And I'm extra happy on my vacation. Although we are losing to Thanos, we're doing decent in hurricane season. I guess it's a garbage trade-off. But I'm taking happiness where it can. Oh, crap, yeah. I didn't hang out work too well. Yeah, so I don't know. Part of the job when I get off vacation is convincing like the other 30% of America to wear a fucking mask for the next 3 months. And then let's just see what happens. Let's see, you get like 90%, 99% of all people in America wear masks for the next 3 months and then see what happens. Seems to work out really fucking well for other countries. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, Billy wears a lot of yellow in that tracksuit, and I'm a bad guy. And would I want to hang out with, work with, kiss a lady, young lady who'd openly confess she's a bad guy? You know, then if shit went down and then like the whole world got blown up or something, then she'd be like, I told you I was a bad guy. I'd be like, dumbass. All right. Ooh. Better? No. All right, so I'm now gonna do like my 10-second Instagram modeling. Hi, I'm Thor of Thor News. Would you like to hang out with me? Technically, we're hanging out right now. All right, great. This is fun. Oh, and for equality. During the post-pandemic period known as the Great Depression of the 20s, late 20s into the 30s, chubby women were considered super sexy. And so now in this pandemic, to flip the script for equality, it would be great if chubby men were considered sexy. So vote for chubby men sexy and now or whatever. I don't know, man. But I'm glad we are on vacation together. You know? And sometimes I feel guilty because it's like I'm here with 48 people, but I'm the only one with a microphone. And so someday in the future, hello, Moonlight. It would be great if we could all hang out, you know, at picnic tables and shit. And yeah, that's possible. Some of us are going to hang out someday, probably 2022, 2023. And so when I dispel all the bad mojo out of that mattress, get some decent nights of sleep, maybe my edited videos will come back roaring. And I'm still hoping and praying the sun wakes up in July. Although right now it's not looking too promising. I was surprised that the sun still had a fighter of a sunspot from solar cycle 24. So it's still producing sunspots from the old cycle, right? And so we are not into the next part of the solar cycle yet. I'm like, dang, because you know, empires rise and fall on solar cycles. But I love sunspots, so I'm still like, I love you, sunspot. AR266 from solar cycle 24. I don't know if I don't know. I should drink beer. And we should vape more, smoke more. We're hanging out, we're in lockdown. Except there are a couple people out there like, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. And so in the Avengers, they're on that giant ship in the sky. And here's another thing, man. And this movie came out in 2012, 2013. Where they show... I'm pretty sure they have like, quote unquote, anti-gravity, ion, whatever. Like the things that they can get crafts to do now would blow your mind. I'm pretty sure they have luxury barges in the sky for really, really, really rich people, to where you can take your woman up, 100 miles, 50 miles, 20 miles above Earth, and you can sleep, like have your party with your friends. But another thing was, in the Avengers, the giant spaceship that S.H.I.E.L.D. has, it's a shippy ship that flies. It has I forget what they called it, pixel reflectors or light reflector, I don't know, to where it just absorbs and reflects the area around it, so you can't see this giant battleship in the sky or whatever is in the sky. They can show you any type of an image they want you to see. I'm pretty sure that tech has been there for at least 10 years, if not more, probably mid-2000s. To where they could have giant ships or cities above us and we wouldn't even know. Crazy. Although I think that they still have to operate within the rules of light, and that if it would have to be in a cloud, meaning that it couldn't be straight blue air and the sun is shining directly in. But I don't know. I would like to know. But we are still stuck in 1984. And I want you guys to understand how weird it is for me and maybe other people that like Donald Trump was one of the very first billionaires in America. Donald Trump was one of the very first famous businessmen. And he was famous for being rich. He was a famous, rich businessman. And so he became rich, like right around, famous. Your first like, we're not talking about Tina Turner, we're not talking about Frank Sinatra, we're not talking about Jimi Hendrix, we're not talking about like Tom Hanks or Brad. Like, you had a bunch of people in the mid 80s. He was like the first really famous businessman, and he was really only famous for being rich and being a big real estate guy. And so it's been like 6 years of him being the ultimate American success story. That, like, if you're going to say, like, what is America's major success into 2020, and then we like put the spotlight on him. It seems like him and his buddies have done really well over the last 36 years. But the other 370 million people over the last 36 years, 36, I'm not saying him, but if you're going to pick a individual face, he's been super American famous for 36 years. And so to like get into 2020 and we're still fighting over the same things we were fighting about in the year 2001, like when 9/11 happened. 9/11 increased and intensified the abortion debates by like 1 million. The like religious debates by like 1 million. The race debate, like somehow 9/11 allowed all the weird social shit, weird dealing now that like that shit has grown from 2011 or 1999. That shit has just still and that like Kurt Cobain died, Tupac died, Biggie died. There was the whole Seattle scene where like 3 of those dudes just died in a weekend. But he's still carried on. So I watched rock and roll die on my watch. But I will call them Team Mars. But I watched Team Mars do really well amongst all the Schadenfreude. And so, yeah, I'm totally big into solidifying the social net for anyone, the social safety net for anyone under 1 million over the next 6 months. That is a good team to be on. And so, to say keep anyone under 1 million fed over the next 6 months to 2 years in America, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose, dude? That's all I'm saying. Keep everybody fed, keep lights on, give us all a place to stay. What do you got to lose? People might say, our freedom. Well, they're taking that shit away regardless of if they decide to help feed 30 million people who just got laid off in the last 2-3 months or not. And all those people have kids, and a lot of those people are probably going to have to be staying at home with their kids. Or passing them back and forth between the mother and the father if they're not still married. Or if they never got married. Or even if it's grandma's taking care of them. Or, you know? helping all family units function. I recommend to all Americans who have a net worth of under $1 million do what they can over the next 6 months to keep the family structure surviving and helping the family structure make it through the next 6 months. That includes feeding everybody, keeping the lights on, giving a place to stay. And then Elon just put up 1,000 fucking satellites, says he's gonna give everybody free internet. When's that shit gonna happen? I'd like to know. It seems extremely relevant at a time where stock has gone from like 400 to like 1,700 in 3 months during a pandemic. And he just slashed prices on his fucking cars. And he's named Tesla. And you know, a weird theory between us, 50 people. I've always thought he was von Braun's kid. Because they don't, you know, if you're a Rothschild, then you're going to end up in like a famous place. Not saying it's Rothschild, but saying that they're not going to necessarily give you the name of the Rothschild. Like, there are famous people who are Rothschilds. You just don't know that. And so, like Elon, I've always thought Elon was von Braun's kid. You know, the Nazi who then came over in Operation Paperclip to NASA. So he may or may not know that, but Elon is he's actually like a von Braun kid, and they just had him in Africa. Someone said all the idols who died, I mean, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix all died before 30. Within a month of each other. And they weren't even idols. Like, they were just them. Like, rock and roll was way too young to really be... Like, I don't see them three as false idols, or I mean, I don't. To me, they were like the coolest children of Jesus. That it's like, whether it be spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, the bloodline of Christ carried on. That like some of us take the name of like being a kid of Christ seriously, and that they were, you know, they're more like the kids of Christ. And of course, they were killed. Ay caramba. It's like a battle with Rome. Like Rome and the Spanish Inquisition. That anybody who gets bigger than the machine, eventually, like, they all get knocked down a peg. And the machine has just been in place. This new world order that we've been in for like 130 fucking years. Because remember, when the paragraph or sentence that was written that said New World Order, it was written in like the year 70, right? So the New World Order has had almost 1950 years to be here, interface, like we're past it. Like, and I would guess that should happen in 1888, man. So like we're like post New World Order kind of. And some people can wrap their minds around that. When, as your planetary defense commander tells you, the grand transition, we are like sort of in a post New World Order. That none of the scripture, none of the prophecy, when it got to the digital age, that's where the predictions fall off. So we are in new territory. And people like to say nothing is new under the sun. Well, this part hasn't been done too many times. We are all in this together. And it is new. So we are in like a post-New World Order world. And you don't have to agree with that. But what I'm saying is, Don't let 3 words, New World Order, slow your imagination down. Don't let the 3 words, New World Order, prevent you from helping your neighbor, your fellow American, people across the world. Don't let words written on a piece of paper 1950 years ago put a dome over your imagination and how we deal with these problems that are facing us here now. Like I said, it's like a binary option. Either you got to choose Biden or Trump or the New World Order. It's like that's the only 2 options ever presented to anyone everywhere. Like if you go for anything other than just a straight up vote for a president through an electoral college system under a central bank, man. And so I get tired of thinking in 1984. I get tired of everybody, when the Donald Trump mentality of greed is good that was coined in the early 80s, Oliver Stone, Wall Street. Ooh, I get tired of like we've been fighting the New World Order with greed, or the New World Order has been here and they've been doing very well. We're in the grand transition. We're at the new part. We're at the it's like we made it this deep. Like 2015, we had to avert nuclear war. We did it. It looks like we conquered fucking hurricanes, bro. This is me telling you that. Cheers. And so, yeah, I still believe we're going to work it out. And somehow, they're like 10 or 20% of people, they get freaked out about the idea of all people working together. Like, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to prevent it. And it gets us into the whole weird double loop of if you follow the same mentality that like a new world order, that like it is written in the New Testament, that was written by John or one of the Johns. And so you can't stop it. Along that thought process, the same people who warn you about the New World Order, like technically the people who warn you about the New World Order, there's no fucking way to stop it. Like it's just coming. So like I said, it prevents imagination and it prevents problem solving and it prevents So when I say like we got to feed everybody in America the next 6 months, we're gonna figure out how to do it. No excuses. People are like, that's New World Order. That just like that. I guess that spell has never been weaker than it is now. And, whoa. That like the 2 things I got in the mail were the freeze-dried pineapple and the freeze-dried strawberry. And that if we do have to have some type of meat shortages for the next 2 fucking years, that there are things that are sustainable that a large majority of people can grow. Whether it be fruits, vegetables, nuts, chickpeas, like where if everybody's pitching in to help, we can make it through. Yes, I still think we're going to get there. Thank you for listening. I can't do it alone. At least I'm pretty sure I can. That would be crazy to think I could do it alone, right? That would make me a textbook narcissist and nuts. Thank you. And although I am overweight and have my moments of absolute fucking frustration, I feel pretty strong, especially at Jupiter opposition. And I would tell everybody that, like, hey, we will watch for a comet somewhere around July because of that one Nostradamus passage. And then in July, everybody else but me has gotten to see a comet. Well, a lot of people, not everybody. So I feel pretty strong. I feel like I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's kind of like preparing for it. Where, for lack of a better analogy, that in the Karate Kid, where he has him like wash all the cars, or he has him do all these menial tasks before he teaches him karate. So that, like, we are kind of all in this Space Force phase of everybody has to learn how to do their basic menial tasks over the next 2 years. We got to take care of the basics. And that once we're going to strip it back to the basics, play defense, and make it through, then the next 8 years are going to be fucking awesome. We're talking about a decade. So I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think it is better for people to have a 2-year mentality of, if we don't do the right thing now, which I suggested in February, if we wanted to party in July, that it's kind of the same moment we were at in February. Where, like, if we want to party in December, if we want to party in 2022, if we want things to get better, we have to make major changes now. And those major changes are as simple as, like, everybody wearing a fucking mask. And the people who are like, I don't want to wear a mask. Like, dude, just fucking give it a try for like a month or 3. And then if everybody wearing a mask somehow doesn't work in America, where it seems to work every other country in the fucking world, and there are like 200 of them, India just went back in lockdown. And so, like, I don't even know, man. All the dumb people, sorry calling you dumb, but who don't pay attention to other fucking countries, that, like, India, in my opinion, would not be shutting the fuck down to hurt an election in the United States in 112 days. They're like, India, however India is dealing with it, India is not super majorly dependent on the United States. Like, at whatever, like, the overall Indian future is not being decided on our presidential election. And as a matter of fact, a couple months ago, they got into a giant skirmish and have still been kind of in a weird escalation, de-escalation thing, though they decided to de-escalate between them and China. And so, and, you know, the people have said that they think it was created and then it got out, or it was just created and let out. So either way, play fucking defense and wear a fucking mask. Give it a shot for a month. What's the worst could happen? You know? Like, so I'm saying the same thing now. That's what I'm saying in February. This is like a reset point. And we got 10 days where we get to ask Congress, or like where Congress is like, we're going to take care of the people. Our president and other people have said, we're going to send you guys one more check for $13.50. I never got the first one. Not worried about it. You guys take care of me. But I'm saying that, like, so, like, the public, anyone under $1 million has like another month before they do the giant phase 4 deal where they put out another 4 trillion, 3 trillion. They've already extended the PPP thing. And so, like, the next 20 days, instead of protest, instead of elections, that, like, literally the public is having to figure out how to get them to do what they can to provide over the next 6 months. And my main thing is food and electricity. Like, if you're going to help people out, and no evictions. So those are the things that people, if you're Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, who wants to keep suicide rates down, crime rates down, starvation rates, homeless rates, like, those are the things we should be focused on. It's the next 10 days for employment benefits. And then it is the next, I would guess it's the next 20 days maybe before they have the phase 4 of whenever the Federal Reserve pumps out a lot of money. And if you've been watching other nations have been doing programs for their public to help them adapt in a pandemic. And the worse you had to deal with, the more money they would give people. Like Canada started out saying, hey, we're giving everybody $2,500 a month for like the rest of 2020. Canada did that. Canada's now banned Americans from fucking coming to Canada. That's like how bad we fucked it up, dude. Canada basically paid everybody to be in Canadian Space Force. They did it right. And now I got a bunch of people in Canada who are like, dude, you'd have so much fun hanging out with us, eating poutine, drinking Canadian beer, chasing fucking werewolves and whatever things are floating around in the sky there. But I can't, because Americans are not allowed in Canada for like a year. But Canada did it right from top down, it would seem. And the first thing the Trudeau or whatever his name was said is like, hey, everybody gets X amount of dollars to take care of yourself during a fucking plague. But you don't hear the Canadian president talk about the Canadian stock market that much. Matter of fact, I don't know if I've ever heard him talk about the Canadian stock markets. Hey, buddy. What I like about talking to y'all is I get to work out my thoughts sometimes. And hey, can I mention that you should watch Old Guard on Netflix with Charlize Theron and a giant talented cast? Oh. And so it seems like a franchise, and I want them to rescue that girl from the Iron Maiden at the bottom of the ocean. If you watch Old Guard, you know what I'm talking about. The cute Asian. What the hell? I knocked something over. My fucking. Dude, gremlins knocked over my breath wash antiseptic while I was in the bathroom. I just wasted like $2.50 worth of stuff that would have made my breath smell better and killed germs in my mouth. Damn it. All right. I had bad luck in that spot. $55 people are here. Oh, I still got beer though. Zeus. I gotta get paper towels. It's like Lady of the Lake. All right. So yeah, America's now like Hunger Games. And you got giant districts. And somehow, that's why, like, when people are talking about, like, there's the national shit, and then there's, like, state shit. And I probably used too many paper towels. And so, like, today, Newsom shut down California's pretty much all their indoor phase 1 stuff. And then they're having the debate over in-class school, not in-class school. So California, I don't think is totally decided. Some places have. But then Orange County, which is a pretty big county, man. And it's like South Los Angeles, Hollywood County. And so Orange County is like, we're having in-school classes in the fall. And the fall's like 6 weeks away. And most schools start around September 22nd or something. And Orange County's like, fuck it. We're opening them up, having everybody come in. But then there have been different states where they're talking about, you know, teachers are having to fill out their wills, and that Georgia had people saying, we need you to fill this out, that if you did die, who would you want to be your substitute and replacement? Or if you just got sick. Like, it's weird shit that's going on. But it's very Hunger Games. And I think it's like, I tried to do the math the other day. And so the best way to figure out a little district is like, does it have a police station? Does it have police force? And so that there are 20,000 different police departments in the USA. I was going to put my hair back, but I have all that cool stuff in it. It's raising my production value. And I don't think school districts is that big, but it gives us an idea of like what we're dealing with. You've got at least 1,000 different school districts. Having to figure out their own policy. And some politics is going to bleed into it. But I really think at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of concern coming out of the teachers, because most teachers are older, you know, over 40, or a lot of them. And then the parents. It's like, if it even only had a 0.001% of chance of killing or hurting your kid, would you still want to take that risk? Because it's new. It's a new virus, flu thing that the universe has put out. And the second wave of the Spanish flu was much worse than the first. And the second wave of the 1666 pandemic was much worse than the first. I'm pretty sure it was that way with the Black Death as well. And there have been statistics that show it has reinfected people, meaning that it's not necessarily like a normal flu, that if you get it, that you build antibodies, that there have several people that have tested to have lost their antibodies to it and then been reinfected. And so if it didn't get you the first time, might get you the second time. So the rest of 2020 is going to be interesting. And all I can do is, when I have the energy and strength and words, is try and put out good information and advice that gets the right people in the nick of time to help everybody have a better future over the next lifetime and then whatever comes after. I mean, this lifetime, though. And you were great. I'm wearing my Nikola Tesla ring. You need to hit the hay? I need to get off vacation then. I got a video. I mean, I can make a video about, you know, the Jupiter opposition. Comet Neowise has done some amazing things. People are talking about, is it breaking up? Is it not breaking up? The weather is always doing shit. Like I said, the flooding in China is incredible, dangerous, deadly. There's a giant heat wave going through, but as long as the heat doesn't get like 1.5 standard deviations up, it isn't going to kill everybody at once. We all know how to deal with maximum heat or livable heat. Let's see. You got the giant story where they came out and said, oh, there's a much larger chance of a big California earthquake in the near future. Like 3 times more of a chance today than it was before the earthquake that happened. And I've been recommending, you know, if you're in California, I wouldn't necessarily, that's not, I don't know, that place seems like a cursed battleground. So migrating away from there, I've been recommending it for a couple of years. And I recognize some Californians are diehard Californians, live and die there. Hey, I respect that 100%. And I hope to sometime take chances in the future to visit you guys. But, you know, Texas is a great place and seems kind of safe compared to something like that. But you never know. They extracted a shit ton of petroleum out of the Permian Basin. Like trillions and trillions. What's it talking about? Oh, yeah, so I got that video, and then I got all these documentaries that I pulled a long time ago on the 1918 pandemic, where people from the 50s and 40s and 60s and 70s were talking about what happened in 1918. And I think now would be a good time for that, because, you know, it's people from then talking about much of the same shit we're dealing with. Although in the 1918 pandemic, there weren't a lot of people who thought it was a fucking hoax. They definitely had people who opened up too soon. There are major cases where it's like Philadelphia and some other city in the Northeast where one did one thing and then the other did the other. And like, you know, we can learn from history if we want to. Yeah, so I need to get back to work. So, you know, thank you guys. I love you. Go to sleep if you guys can and need to. Quest Ghost. Wu-Tang in the house. Love you, Wu-Tang. Love you, Wagon Breath. Yo. I love you, Yellow. Yeah, I'll take a minute or two. One more cigarette, although I'm chain smoking. I just realized I'm going back to work. It's like when you're on a cigarette break. That's not a good excuse. Quest Ghost. "2020 is like interdimensional kung fu all the time, with dancing when we can. Just happy to be alive. Trying to recommend we solidify the social safety nets over the next 6 months for all Americans. And we got a window, like 10 or 20 days. And everybody needs to gear up for 2 more years of shit. This virus is not going away November 4th. Much love to everybody. God bless everyone. Stay cool. And thank you guys for being amazing. And please do what you can to keep it together. But you guys have been doing great. So, the light at the end of the tunnel here. And hey, thank you to Jupiter. Love Jupiter. And then, like I said, a week from now, we got Earth, the Sun, and Saturn lining up. Because the solar system is an excellent example of divine architecture that is far beyond what our human brain can comprehend. Though at times it seems our dreams do give us glimpses of things that are bigger than what we know of in everyday life. But I'm glad you're here with me, and I can't wait to see you again. Y'all stay cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye, y'all. Sweet dreams.